Former FBI Assistant Director Mark Morgan back with us.
Joining me now, Mark Morgan.
Mark, good to have you back.
Mr. Morgan, thanks very much for coming on.
Mark Morgan is with us.
Mark Morgan joins me now live.
Mark Morgan is with us.
Joining me now is Mark Morgan.
Mark Morgan. Mark, good to see you.
Mark Morgan.
Listen to Mark Morgan.
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 Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan.
Mark Morgan.
Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan. Mark Morgan.
Let's go in depth now with Mark Morgan.
Mark, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Characterize the situation for us at the border today.
It's absolutely a national emergency.
I have to ask you about a factual claim that a member of Congress recently made, that the United States is taking children, keeping them in cages, and injecting them with drugs.
The United States Border Patrol, they should be applauded for what she's talking about, cages. And those cages, the reason why they're designed that way is for the safety and security of the people that are in there. They're not cages. They're actually really nice facilities.
For the left, is it about come on in, whoever you are, we're going to open our welfare state and our voting rolls?
That's exactly what it is, Pete. This caravan coming in, it's no surprise. It's absolutely a crisis, and the president was right to say that this is an emergency. Purely about politics, identity politics, political ideology. They know there's an issue at the border. They're failing to do their job. So if I had 2 seconds with the president, I'd look him in the eye and say thank you. And we are absolutely putting American citizens at greater risk because Congress is failing to act. They're not reaching the breaking point. They're in the middle of the breaking point, and we still hear talking points that this is a manufactured crisis and the border's just fine. Difference between the 90s and 2000s are the demographics. In the 2000s, we had 1 million, but 90% of them, Tucker, were removed. This year, we could reach 1 million. The difference is because they're family units and children, we will release 65% of that million. 650,000 will be released into the United States. That's the difference. It's a crisis. We're going to allow 650,000 into this country, most of which we don't know who they are, and we'll never hear from them again. Make no mistakes. Sanctuary cities are part of this crisis. They are signaling and telling the immigrants, come here illegally, exploit our laws and our generosity. Not only will we take you in, we'll protect you, we'll reward you, and we will thwart the law enforcement from trying to do their job. They are not fleeing persecution or violence, and the stats show that by the amount of asylum claims that are actually found to be not valid. It's unbelievable. I mean, Laura, I watched your show the other night, and I literally stood up and was clapping as you were talking, because where's the outrage?
This is rather dangerous and troubling. This smacks of vigilantism, but I can understand it. What say you?
Well, Stuart, I actually agree on both points.
The propaganda that we were hearing last year about child separations, and you saw all the people crying on television about it, and, you know, Trump's a Nazi and all this stuff, that was all a pretext for setting up a system in which nobody could actually be deported.
That's absolutely correct, and they knew that. They absolutely knew that, Tucker.
So are Smollett's troubles really far from over? Here to weigh in is former FBI Assistant Director Mark Morgan.
Is it normal in cases like this for Michelle Obama's chief of staff to get involved behind the scenes?
Absolutely not.
Is it a big deal that one administration would spy in the presidential campaign of another party?
That's an absolute understatement. It's beyond a big deal.
What do you make of the president's visit?
So it was outstanding once again. They do not want to give the president a victory on this issue. As a law enforcement officer, I can draw no other conclusion.
Mark Morgan, you're a wise man. You know what you're talking about.
Mark Morgan, thank you so much for your insights. Greatly appreciated.
Look, I'm not a political guy. I'm a law enforcement guy.